Here they are, 2 weeks in, growing well. We're starting to get more and more light, so in the next month I'll be harvesting and it should be looking good. Here's a couple of leaves I took off, just loaded. So I'm gonna go down the toilet and get rid of all those. Okay, I'm gonna get some of these big lettuce leaves. Looks good. Collect them in my basket and I'll take them down to the kitchen and wash everything thoroughly, any last bugs off, and yeah, be nice for lunch. Nice lettuce mix. And with lettuce, it keeps growing, so I should get a long harvest out of this. So these things are going to just hang down and be supported by my rocks here, and yeah, should keep growing. We'll see how long. I think a few months, a couple of months at least, which will be great. Will tide me be a transition into the outside garden. You're not going to get much fresher than this. This is pretty much direct here. Get a couple of Swiss chard. And a couple of kale. It's looking pretty nice. Come over onto this side and get a couple of Swiss chard leaves. Again, you should be able to harvest these for a long period. Let's get a couple of these mustard greens also. There we go. Okay, there's my harvest, and that's lunch. Well, bugs are everywhere, so got to take some drastic action. I'm going to do a harvest, and I'm going to cut out the kale and other plants that are really bad. Here we go. Okay, untangling the next level. I gotta undo these stakes and getting down there. 3 levels left. This one's got 2 tomatoes, but they're very extensive. Okay, there's my second one from the bottom. It's just got Swiss chard in it, so I'll pull that down, and then that bottom one's got a bunch of tomatoes. I'll come and get that. Okay, I've got my stakes, I've got my hoops, bamboo stakes, cords, and here's the bottom level. Pretty extensive. In the bottom level, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tomatoes. Wow, that's a lot of tomatoes in that small area. So, you know, each of those tomatoes is between 6 and 10 feet long, and some of them branch. So, you know, 7 times 10, that's like 50 to 80 feet of vine growth, all coming through these pretty small things here. So, you know, and being the bottom level, it doesn't get as much water as otherwise. So, you know, I think when I get them out on the deck, I can just dump water in there like crazy and see what they'll do. But I think that was one of the problems with this Greenstalk used in this way. Inside, just can't water it, you know, fully, so it drenches all the way through, because then it just goes all over the floor. So that's a problem. Here's stuff that didn't quite make it, and the harvest. There's some more on the plants, but a couple dozen things and a bunch of stuff I got to clean up. So going to the deck outside for phase 3. Some tomatoes, Swiss chard, and ooh, this one's a real long one. Just from there, down, 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 up to the top, and down to some more tomatoes. My deck growing space, and what I've normally done is had window boxes hanging on the rail, and I got 6 of those. They've worked pretty well. They're filled with pansies this year. And then I've got geraniums in front. Now that's worked well, and what I did this year is I added this structure outside and got a makeshift cover to shade this window on the inside, and to provide like a little private room area, and that has actually worked tremendously well. But the cover is not the greatest, so what I would likely do is either find a proper cover for the structure, which I got for free with no cover, or just take this down and get a proper awning attached to the house. Now, you also see my Greenstalk, my tomato factory Greenstalk. I deconstructed, I moved out here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, and I've got them growing tomatoes strung up. I haven't got a lot of tomatoes from that yet, but it's coming, and it's pretty warm. It's basically the end of August, and I've gotten a clear 2 weeks with no frost in sight, so that's great. So I will get tomatoes here. You know, there are a few that are coming, and you see it's strung up. You know, there's a few there, there's a few there, and there's some others that are coming along. You know, I don't mind using the space, but eventually next year I'll probably put those Greenstalks, one in each of the high tunnels, on a basis that I can, rotating base, so much more effective. Here I am prepping to sow seeds into these little rockwool cubes. It's a little rockwool cube sitting in a pan here with about 1/4 inch of water. So I'm going to sow seeds, a bunch of different seeds. I'll show you those, and then cover the holes with vermiculite to hold the water in, and let them sprout. It should take anywhere from 3 days to maybe 3 to 10 days for sprouting. So let's get going. Here we go. First thing is we're going to do some cantaloupe, collards, Swiss chard, market more cucumber, pepper, dwarf, blue curled Scotch kale, Bloomsdale dark green spinach, Boston pickling cucumbers, perennial mint, Dolce Fresco basil, kitchen blend basil, rosemary, Italian oregano, sage, English thyme, and cilantro rani. I'm going to do basically one of each of those. And then these are the seeds that came with the kit. This is Lactuca sativa kale. I'm going to do 2 cubes of that. Arugula, 2 cubes of rainbow chard. Basil, bib lettuce, and gourmet lettuce. Let's get going. These small seeds you put multiple seeds in. There's sage. I'll go across. Italian oregano. Tiny seeds. Rosemary, a little bigger. Maybe put 5 or 6 seeds in. Now here's some basil from West Coast Seeds. They're tiny, tiny. Second row. There's some Dolce Fresca basil, West Coast Seeds. They're tiny as well. Let's open up my knife here so I can get into this package. Mint, number 7. Gourmet lettuce. Pretty tiny seed. Number 8. Bib lettuce. Okay, this is number 9. Oh, that's a, okay, different seed. Okay, about 5 or 6 seeds. Smaller seeds, you put in more. Just little tiny lettuce seeds, up to 10 seeds. Like this basil, for instance, I think is pretty small seeds. Big seeds like squash or pumpkin, probably just 1, maybe 2. But and I guess the idea is that when you put them into the system, it'll support multiple seeds. This is 4, 8, 9, 10. This is number 10. It'll support multiple seeds because the roots just grow down and the roots will have full access to all the nutrients that they need, and it could be kind of crowded at the crowns, but you know, you can cut that out. That's your harvest, I suppose. There's 11 arugula. So 4 or 5, those are a little bit bigger. Cilantro. Oh, these are big seeds, so let's put 4 in there. This is number 12. There we go. Now, Boston pickling cucumber. These are big seeds, so I'll put 3 in. There you go, that's a pretty big seed. You know, I suppose I can, once the seeds come up, I can always pick the strongest and just snip off the other ones if it looks like too much. But I know that on the packages, on the write-ups, they show, you know, like this spinach rainbow chart is showing 4 to 6 seeds. So, and these are big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're big, and they also, each seed is a multi-seed, so there's going to be, well, we'll put 6 in there. That seems like a lot, but we'll see. Oh, I was going to do double. So I've got 6 in there, so why don't I take one of those seeds, move it over to the next one, 2 of those seeds, move it over to the next hole. There, one's got 4, one's got 2. And kale, this is 16 and 17, this is 4 to 6 seeds. These kale seeds are very small. That's about 6, stick those in here. All right. Okay, 2 of those. Spinach, so I'll put 6. Dwarf blue Scotch curled kale is in 19. Oh, there's tiny seeds in a separate little pack. So okay, I think 3 or 4 went in there for sure. Yeah, these Wild Rose heritage seeds are in these Mylar packs, resealable, so that's great for storing them, keeping the light out, and just keep them in a room temperature area. Okay, Hungarian peppers. Now I grew some of these in the garden, and I had some good results. So these are bigger seeds. I'm gonna put, let's say, I'm gonna put 3 seeds in there. Uh-oh, 5, way too many. 3. Put these back. Anyway, this is the 3rd year I've got these seeds. I've got 4 more things. This is Market More cucumber. These are, I think, are my other cucumber. I put in 3. So let's try 3 again. These are a bit bigger seeds. 1, 2, 3. Swiss chard. 3 or 4. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. One fell into this other hole. There we go. I fished it out. Collards. Those look nice. It'd be great to grow these inside where I don't have the white cabbage moth and the worm problem. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So whoa, oh my gosh. Well, I got about 20 seeds in there. Let's fish some of them out. Way too much. Still probably 10, way too much. And then fast break cantaloupe. Oh, we'll see. I mean, supposedly you can grow melons and all sorts of things in these systems. So they will need support for sure. And we'll do 3 more because this is big seeds, kind of like the cucumbers. All right. Okay. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So 24 seeds will be 24 spots. And now I got to put vermiculite over the top. Now, where there's just a little tiny seeds, tiny amount of vermiculite, where it's big seeds, larger amount. So these first ones are herbs, they're all tiny seeds. Oh, this one's got big seeds. The vermiculite expands and it holds water. It's kind of a layered rock that when it's heated, it expands, it puffs up. But it puffs up and then it's got layers that hold water in between each layer. So it's a great water retention material. These last ones here, I'm gonna fill the holes. Seeds are bigger. All right, so these 24 are going into 24 spots on the tower garden. And I've got 6 tomato cuttings from my hothouse that I'm rooting, and then I'll put those in. So that makes 30, and then there's another 10, I think it's 40 altogether, 40 spots. So another 10, I'm gonna get, Safeway's got this system, the live food system where they grow food, and they have a unit, special unit in the store where they grow hydroponically herbs and greens and vegetables. So, check those out. They look pretty good. They got tons of herbs. So I'm gonna get 8 of their herbs and supplement what I've started here, and then a couple of big bunches of lettuce or other veggie that will fill the remaining slots on my tower garden. That's the plan, and I need to add water and tidy up, and then put these in a semi-shady spot, not in direct sun, and let them get going. And as soon as they pop up, then I can move them into the sun, direct sun. And eventually when they get 2 to 3 inches tall, then I can move these into the various slots and set up the actual tower garden. So that's it for now. Here's my new tower garden setup with a tower, support cage, and light system. And I'm just waiting for the dolly to arrive. Then I'll be planting out stuff. Now, this is an upper area here with special hooks, so I don't need to use the clips, and it just sits in there. Sits on that little peg, and here's the baskets. Let's take this one out. It just snaps out. There's the basket, and just as easily just snaps in. Here's the timer for the lights. Basically, it's going to run 15 minutes every hour for 12 to 14 hours per day. So here's my supplies, starting kit, and here's some seeds in rock wool blocks, 3 to 10 seeds per block, getting ready to sprout, and then they'll be transferred into the individual slots. Are outside on my deck, and it's where I disassembled the second Greenstalk, my tomato factory. I moved it out here and strung it up, and I've been growing tomatoes ever since. And I've got some tomatoes, you can see here. And plants have done well. Unfortunately, I think the reality is, even though you can see a few little ripe ones here, the reality with the tomatoes is that above the railing, it's too windy up here, and things are too weather beaten, and so it's not really an ideal spot for tomatoes. Although, like, look at this plant. That was a bare stalk, and now it's got 2-foot tomato plants, tons of flowers, and quite a few tomatoes coming to ripeness. But it's good enough. These will go for a while yet until I get my first frost, which right now is going to be about 10 days from now. That's the forecast, at least. But it's only -1 projected, so these might survive, and I may get another month, so we'll see. Swiss chard in this Greenstalk has done great, and I've harvested once, and this is just about ready to harvest. Now, unfortunately, I get a bug of some sort, like a leaf miner, getting in. You can see on this leaf, just destroying these leaves. So I'm not sure what that is, but that's been a problem, and curtail harvest. Well, good morning. It's the 15th of September, and warming up nicely. It's going to be around 22 today. But I wanted to discuss what we're planning for these Greenstalk containers. As you will have noted from previous videos, they were purchased a year ago and put together 2 towers in my master bathroom upstairs. I planted a number of items: tomatoes, cucumbers, onions, Swiss chard, romaine lettuce, bib lettuce, kale, quite a few things actually. And you've seen the progress of that over the year. Now, overall, I would say they have been fairly successful, and we've got a lot of produce out of it, starting within a month of first putting the plants in the containers. But one thing that happened that I had to deal with is I had bugs. The seedlings I started inside, and unfortunately I had brought in some peppers, and they had aphids and other things on them. So all winter and spring I was fighting off aphids. Fungus gnats were terrible, and I had some white flies. And then on other plants in that room, we had spider mites as well. So starting in about March or April, I dismantled one of the towers and brought it out here onto the deck. It was here originally, put in the sun, no watering and no plants, and tried to cleanse out the bugs. And then enhanced the remaining tower and focused on tomatoes, and I had like a tomato tower, and that was very successful. I had fresh tomatoes from about February right until June, when I tore it apart. When I finally tore it apart, the weather had warmed up. I was just fed up with all these bugs. So I dismantled it, tried to maintain the tomato vines, and brought them down section by section and put them onto the deck. And they've been here since. And the tomatoes here have done okay. We've got some tomatoes, but much reduced production.
What are you doing? We need to pick up.
We've got just a few tomatoes, and as you can see in the background, you've seen before, anything above the rail has been hit by the wind pretty bad. So it's been very difficult for anything to do much. And the stuff down below, we've got some tomatoes, but not a lot. So it hasn't really worked as a grow spot. My Swiss chard has done very well, although the leaves have been attacked by some sort of a leaf miner. like this one here, you can't see it, but some sort of a bug that's getting in and mining in the leaf and destroying it. So yeah, it looks like some sort of a little beetle. So that's been a problem. Although Swiss chard is growing well, this is a problem, and I haven't really got much out of that as well. So what I eventually did with the first tower, and I will with this one shortly, is I reconstructed it and moved it inside one of my mini greenhouses. Inside there I planted some lettuce, and I got some harvest of lettuce off of it. It was okay. Unfortunately, it was very crowded there with big leafy plants, and it was right up against the rain barrel. So, and it wasn't in a place where I could rotate it to get light on all sides. So I ended up purchasing some spinner bases from the States, and when they arrived in August, I put it on, and that's helped quite a bit. Now, the one tower is still in the one mini greenhouse on a spinner base, and I've reseeded it with Swiss chard and kale, and there's some lettuce on the top level. And with that, I'm able to spin it in place to get good access to light. And I've also harvested a lot of stuff out of there, so it should be much better, but it's kind of late, mid-September. I've got maybe, with these cold hardy crops, maybe another month or so, 6 weeks of potential growing, although light is diminishing. So we'll see how that does. Shortly, we'll be getting a frost here. We'll probably kill these tomatoes. So once that happens, then I will move this into the other mini greenhouse and set it up similarly. And since it's so late, I'll just leave it over the winter to kill off the bugs in the soil, hopefully. Now, so all in all, the Greenstalk has been, I would say it's been a success, but the bugs have definitely been a problem, and having because they hatch eggs and use the soil as a medium in their life cycle. So that's been a real problem, and it's not something I want to repeat. Fortunately, I was able to close off that room and keep them kind of segregated into that room so they didn't spread all over the house. But yeah, we're not doing that again. So I found once I moved them outside, either the bugs dissipated or there's access to natural predators like ladybugs and lacewings and other things like that have come and actually removed the vast majority of the bugs. So having them outside has been really good from that point of view. And even in the mini greenhouse, there's good access. Side walls are rolled up for predators to get in. So all in all, I would say the Greenstalk for fighting bugs has worked much better outside where it's more natural environment. So my intention going forward is to use it in those mini greenhouses, one in each, on a spinner base, so I get good light all around and I can water easily. And I'll probably use it for crops like Swiss chard, lettuce, and I don't know, I'll have to think about it. Maybe cucumbers. I can also plant at the very top because I have access to watering from the side, so I don't need to water into the top like I have previously. Anyway, so get a little vertical growing in the mini greenhouse to use that the full volume of that space. So yeah, I did get a lot of harvest inside over this past winter, so that was good. And they haven't quite paid for themselves, but I've got like a 50% return in one season, so that's fantastic. And I think in the mini greenhouse, I'll set them up there. I should be able to use them for very early in the spring crop, like starting in March for cold hardy plants, and also a late fall crop, but I need to get seeded in August and established, so it'll grow right into October. So I think it'll be great for that, and I hope to reschedule plantings in the Jesse. Shut the door and go inside. The full door. I hope to reschedule. I plan to reschedule my planting rotation in the mini greenhouses to have an early spring, a full summer crop, and then a fall crop over the 3 months of the winter, 3 to 4 months of winter, deep winter like November, December, January, February. Just let it rest. I need to break too. So that's my plan for the Greenstalks, and I learned quite a bit, and I still think it's a great growing system, but you know, in a specific microenvironment, it's going to really flourish. Okay, here we are back in the winter growing garden area, and behind me is a tower garden. This is an aeroponic system. It's no soil, and it's got a nutrient solution that's cycled for 15 minutes every hour for 12 to 14 hours a day. Oh no, actually 24 hours a day. And it's got built-in lights around that hang, and these will be on for anywhere from 8 to 14 hours per day. Now, so this is coming in, this is replacing the Greenstalk. Greenstalks have been moved out into the mini greenhouses, as I discussed previously, where they can have a full season, 3-season life, have natural predators to deal with bugs. And this system here shouldn't have any bugs, are very minimal and much easier to control, if any. So I'm getting all set, and I've got some seeds. I started some seeds. These are in rock wool cubes. They should be sprouting over the next week or 10 days. And once they sprouted and grown a couple of inches, to include the first 2 of these, then they'll be set into these tabs here on the side of the tower. So that's the plan. I've got a combination of tomatoes from our cuttings downstairs, lettuce, kale, Swiss chard, a whole pile of herbs, cucumbers, melon, and anyway, a wide variety of things. So that's the plan, and in with the new, and hopefully this system will work well. I can use it year-round for certain crops, lettuce and other crops year-round that'll grow in here, and then supplement other things that I have out in the garden. So that's the plan. In with the new. Thanks. Well, obviously I need to get better at this setting up my camera and getting good angles, but here's the tower system here, tower garden. There's 4 lights. There's the extensions for holding things, and there are the little ports that I plug these net baskets with the rooted plants. Here's my seed starter kit. Again, rock wool, some seeds, 3 to 10 seeds in each hole, and then covered with vermiculite and just allowed to germinate. Pretty straightforward. In addition, I've noted that Safeway has a living seed program, a living herb program, where they grow herbs and lettuce and a few other plants in a hydroponic raft system, and you can just buy them. You pull them out of the raft, so there's no soil, just root. And I think I'm going to buy 10 of those to go in these upper ports here that are for herbs and small plants. That'll happen in a couple of days once I get the base for this thing so I can rotate it. And once that's in place, I should be able to start this guy up and get it going right away. Anyway, that's the name there, Tower Garden. Looking forward to it. Here's the full tower. There's a reservoir, tower, lights, and support cage on the outside. And it's also got an extension kit. So the tower itself here is about 6 feet tall. I could continue to add extensions if I wanted and to go right up to the ceiling, but I think this is good. Now the reason that I went with the garden tower, the Greenstalk, at first is that this is about triple the price of that. That's one factor. Plus, you need to add nutrients on a continual basis. So there's kind of ongoing costs. Now, to be fair, the Greenstalk, you've got costs for the soil and compost and things like that. So, the cost is definitely more expensive for this, but otherwise, I think it's going to be the same. And the reason I converted and I'm going with this winter is, again, the bugs with the soilless aeroponic system. I believe that's going to be much more effective. Anyway, here's hoping. Thanks. Okay, here's the tower garden all set up with some transplants from Safeway. Anyway, basil, I've got 8 herbs, and then salad, 3 different types of salad, which are pretty, they're pretty full. We'll see how long I can extend it. And the lights are on, scheduled from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the water comes on 5 minutes on, 45 minutes off. So continuous cycle on that 5:45.